If you've ever had a wheelbarrow tray crack after one season, or watched a wheel go flat the one week you actually needed it, you know this tool matters more than people give it credit for. I went through real listings, real spec sheets, and real buyer reviews to rank 6 actual wheelbarrows from worst to best. No garden carts, no wagons, no multi-tool hybrids, just wheelbarrows. Let's start at the bottom. Number 6 is the Goplus 2-wheel wheelbarrow. This is a dual-wheel design built around a heavy-duty steel frame paired with a PP plastic container holding 5 cubic feet and rated for 330 pounds. It rolls on 2 14-inch pneumatic tires with a tread pattern meant to add grip on grass, dirt, and gravel, and the padded loop handle is meant to make lifting, balancing, and dumping easier than a single wheelbarrow. On paper, that's a reasonable spec sheet for a budget dual-wheel option, and the price point reflects that. Here's where it loses points. A review analysis firm that studied 76 verified reviews for this exact listing gave it a 7.6 out of 10 overall. And one of the recurring notes in that analysis was that the wheelbarrow may not be sturdy enough for heavier use. That's not one angry customer venting, that's a pattern showing up across a meaningful sample size. To be fair, the same analysis scored assembly and maneuverability reasonably well, so this isn't a bike that's falling apart in the box. It's more that the plastic tub and lighter-duty frame have a ceiling, and if you're planning to haul wet concrete or a full load of river rock regularly, you'll probably find that ceiling faster than you'd like. If your use case is light yard work, bagged mulch, and the occasional bag of soil, it'll likely do the job fine. Just don't expect it to be your permanent solution if your projects get heavier over time. Number 5 is the VEVOR wheelbarrow cart. This is a single-wheel 6 cubic foot design rated for 330 pounds, built around an iron frame and tray with wide 16-inch track wheels for stability, and it ships with a genuinely complete hardware kit: 4 wooden handles, a U-channel steel plate, support bars, an axle, V-legs, axle sleeves, and a full bag of the specific screws needed for assembly. VEVOR's own published reviews for this exact model are actually pretty encouraging. One buyer called it a solid wheelbarrow and said their only real complaint was that it obviously didn't assemble itself, which is a backhanded compliment if there ever was one. Another reviewer used it to move 2 yards of soil and 2 yards of rock, and said it held up well with an easy dump feature that made unloading simple. So this isn't a bike with a hidden failure mode. The honest catch here is just that assembly required means real assembly, not 15 minutes with 2 bolts. You're working with a full parts diagram, a wrench, and a screwdriver, and depending on your patience for that kind of project, that's either a mild inconvenience or a genuine turnoff. One buyer also mentioned the paint needed touching up after moving rocky material, which is a small cosmetic note worth knowing going in. If you don't mind a real assembly session in exchange for a wide, stable single-wheel design, this earns its spot. Number 4 is the Amazon Basics Garden Wheelbarrow. At 3.7 cubic feet and a listed 330-pound capacity, this is a lightweight steel frame, plastic bucket wheelbarrow built for landscaping cleanup, home improvement debris, and even small batch concrete mixing, with inflatable rubber wheels meant to handle varied terrain and a design that tips up for compact storage. The appeal here is straightforward. It's from a brand people already trust for consistency, and the tray size is genuinely practical for smaller yards where a massive 8 cubic foot tub would just be overkill. The catch is one that an independent testing team actually put their hands on directly. Bob Vila's tested wheelbarrow guide noted that the listed 330-pound weight capacity seems a bit exaggerated, specifically because of the thin-gauge steel frame and plastic bed used in this build. That doesn't mean the wheelbarrow is unusable at that weight, but it does mean the number on the box is more of a ceiling than a comfortable working capacity, and pushing it right up to that limit repeatedly is probably asking more of the frame than it's built to give long-term. For occasional yard work, light mulch hauling, and general home projects, this is a perfectly reasonable, affordable pick. Just don't buy it thinking you're getting a contractor-grade hauler in a lightweight body. The 330 pounds is optimistic marketing more than it is a number to build your workflow around. Now, quick heads up before we go further. One wheelbarrow on this list is made in the USA with a documented weight capacity nearly identical to the most expensive contractor model here, at a fraction of the price. It's coming up soon. Let's keep going. Number 3 is the Best Choice Products dual-wheel wheelbarrow. This one holds 5 cubic feet and carries a listed 330-pound weight capacity, running on 2 14-inch inflatable rubber wheels for stability across different terrain. The thick, padded handlebar is a genuinely nice touch. It doubles as a stand, so the wheelbarrow can rest upright in a shed or garage without tipping over, and the frame is powder-coated steel paired with a plastic bin, which keeps the whole unit lighter than an all-steel build. For the price, that combination of stability, storage convenience, and dual-wheel balance makes it an easy sell for casual homeowners. The honest trade-off, according to an independent buying guide that tested it directly, comes down to material choice. Reviewers specifically noted the bin could be a more durable material, like steel, which tells you plainly that the plastic tub is the weak point in an otherwise solid build. That's not a defect, it's a design decision. Plastic keeps the weight and price down, but it also means it won't take the same abuse as a steel tray if you're hauling sharp rocks or heavy construction debris regularly. If your projects are mulch, soil, leaves, and general yard cleanup, that plastic bin will serve you fine for years. If you're routinely moving broken concrete or gravel with sharp edges, you'll want to keep an eye on wear over time, or consider stepping up to a steel tray option further up this list. Number 2 is the Scenic Road Wheelbarrow, model G82K. This is an 8 cubic foot, 400-pound capacity dual-wheel wheelbarrow built with a powder-coated steel undercarriage, solid red oak handles, and two 16-inch knobby tires designed for traction on grass, gravel, mud, or loose dirt. That's a genuinely large tray and a high weight rating for a homeowner-grade wheelbarrow, and the two-wheel design is built specifically to add stability without giving up capacity, which is a real advantage if you're hauling heavier, bulkier loads and don't want the tipping risk that comes with a single wheel. Scenic Road markets itself as a US-based manufacturer, and the build details, real wood handles instead of painted composite, a reinforced steel frame, knobby all-terrain tires, back up a genuinely higher-end spec sheet than most of what's ranked below it here. The honest caveat with this one isn't about the build quality itself, it's about track record. This specific listing simply doesn't have the deep, years-long stack of buyer feedback that some of the more established brands further up this list have built up. That's not a red flag by itself. Newer listings have to start somewhere, but it does mean you're leaning more on the spec sheet and less on a long history of other people's real-world experience. If you want the largest tray and highest capacity on this list at a mid-range price point, and you're comfortable being a relatively early adopter on the review count, this is a strong pick on paper. Number 1, the strongest overall pick on this list, is the True Temper R6 STFFEC, and if you only remember one wheelbarrow from this list, make it this one. This is a 6 cubic foot all-steel wheelbarrow with a seamless steel tray, sturdy steel handles fitted with comfort grips, and a flat-free 4x8-inch tire that never needs air and never goes flat, which alone removes one of the most common wheelbarrow failure points entirely. What really sets this apart is the barrow-in-a-box design. The entire wheelbarrow ships in a single manageable box rather than oversized freight, and assembly is built around that same convenience, with all hardware included. True Temper's wheelbarrow line as a whole was named the outright best-tested pick in an independent hands-on comparison against competitors including Jackson, Goplus, Marathon, Rubbermaid, and Works, and real verified buyer reviews on the nearly identical barrow-in-a-box model back that up. People consistently describe it as durable, easy to assemble, and capable of handling everything from mixing cement to hauling firewood and mulch without complaint. If there's one legitimate nitpick on record, it's that at least one buyer flagged the use of plastic spacers in an otherwise all-metal build as the one part they'd expect to wear out first. A fair point, but a minor one in an otherwise steel through-and-through construction. This isn't the biggest tray on this list, and it's not the cheapest, but between the flat-free tire, the steel build quality, the simple one-box shipping and assembly, and the track record backing it up, this is the wheelbarrow I'd actually trust to still be working exactly the way it does today, 5 years from now. So here's how I'd sort all of this by what you actually need. If you want the single best all-around wheelbarrow and you don't want to think about it twice, the True Temper R6 STFFEC is the one to buy. If you're regularly working slopes or uneven ground and want extra leverage built into the handles, look at the True Temper Total Control model instead. If you need real contractor-grade toughness and don't mind the extra weight and price, the Jackson M6T22 is built for that job specifically. If you want the biggest tray and highest capacity at a mid-range price, and you're fine being an early adopter on reviews, the Scenic Road G82K has the numbers to back that up. And if your yard work is genuinely light, leaves, small mulch loads, general cleanup, Several of the budget dual-wheel options further down this list will serve you just fine, as long as you go in with realistic expectations about what 330 pounds on the box actually means in practice. If this saved you from buying the wrong wheelbarrow, subscribe for more real, spec-checked buying guides just like this one, and drop a comment telling me which of these you're actually considering. I read every single one.